So, friends, today I am sitting with that person who has developed the new age stand up comedy in the city of Joy, who helped us to experience the international level, mature, and brilliant stand up comedy. Also, who is the founder of comedians.com, which is India's largest stand up comedy network. And currently, it is comprising groups from more than 22 cities in India. He has appeared in TV and radio, including interviews to BBC World Service Radio for his humorous take on events. He is half German, half Indian, and his Bengali is Mota Muti. And friends, he is none other than Mr. Raouf Gangjee. So we used to familiar with such type of comedy where comedians used to come and punch jokes on five different topics, and or they used to mimic. These new age comedy where comedian is delivering such jokes which are funny, situational, and deep also. So how this journey evolved?
First of all, you're exaggerating. Nothing is deep about us. We are very shallow people.
Okay.
We don't have any complicated ideas. We're very simple individuals. We're like unicellular organisms, almost amoeba. But how it's actually stand-up comedy is a Western concept in the sense it's punchline based. You have a funny line at the end of the joke, which makes the joke funny. Over here, it's more like Kapil Sharma dressing up as a woman and stuff like that, which is things like that. It's would be called slapstick. But here they have a term which says Masi comedy. You heard that term? Masi doesn't mean your aunt. Doesn't mean your aunt.
No, I know.
So that's one term used for it. But punchline based comedy is one funny line at the end of the. So there are basically two kinds of comedy. One is word play, where every line is a punchline. The other is observational comedy. But even with observational comedy, where you're telling a funny story, you normally end with a punchline. That is stand-up comedy, which is different from other kinds of comedy. So you're asking me how I got into it?
No, I am asking how it came to India.
It came to India actually through a guy called Don Ward,
okay,
a British guy who owns a place called the Comedy Store in London and two other cities. And he learned it from the US. There were some comedy stores in the US, and he came back he set up these comedy stores in England. And then later he came to India and set up the Comedy Store, which later became the Canvas Laugh Club in Mumbai.
Okay.
So that's where it all started.
So Canvas Laugh Club is the first?
No. Comedy Store. He had a fight with his local partner, who took over and changed it to Canvas Laugh Club. It was originally the Comedy Store.
Okay. So stand-up comedy dwells over so many things like recent development in science, financial situations, societal issues. But do you feel the new situation is not the situation is not that free for comedians to dwell and explore more?
But there are 2 points. One is, first of all, when stand-up comedy came here about 10 years ago, or more than 10 years ago, it was the only place where you would hear bad language in public. So nobody used to use bad words in public. It started with stand-up comedy. So in that kind of freedom of speech, which is not necessarily such a great thing, that's total freedom of speech. But recently, as it was very small. Hardly anyone knew about it. Now it's become bigger. As it becomes bigger, more people notice it. And politicians, of course, notice what's going on. So the politicians get upset if you make fun of them and so on. So that's been a recent thing, that you have to watch what you say, because people can take offense, and politicians are very touchy people. They have no sense of humor. I can't think of any politician with a sense of humor. Unintentionally, they're all funny. Unintentionally, politicians are better comedians than we are. They're much funnier than we are, but that is not intentional. So that has become a problem nowadays, that you have to watch what you say a little bit.
Okay. So you have experienced international reaction on stand-up comedy. So how the Indian audience accepts this new age stand-up comedy?
Well, first when comedy came here, first it was all English.
Okay.
There was no Hindi. The first guy to do Hindi was Zakir Khan.
Okay.
And we were making fun of him. Because how can you do Hindi? Impossible. Now it's all Hindi. It's like the movies. It's understandable. The crowd is Hindi. So it's all Hindi. There are hardly any more English. So I've become a dinosaur now, because I'm one of the few remaining English comics. And what is the other part of the question?
The part of the question is you have seen the international experience. You have the international experience, but how Indians
it's becoming more popular. It's still not popular enough. For example, the last edition of Indian Laughter Challenge, which was a couple of years ago, they had first contacted me and they said, they were having auditions in Calcutta, they said, we want some comedians, so I gave them stand-up comedians. And the judges loved it because it's much funnier than the old comedy.
Okay.
And then they asked me for names from Hindi, from Delhi and Lucknow and all. And so for the first time, almost everybody taking part in Indian Laugh Challenge, whatever it's called, was a stand-up comedian. And the judges loved it, but then it failed because the television audience doesn't fully understand it. So it failed, and then they had to bring these Hollywood people to do slapstick comedy in the episodes and so on. So it's not yet fully understood how punchline-based comedy
So
works.
still
But
it
it's
is-
becoming more popular. It's becoming more and more popular because previously when somebody reached 1 lakh viewers on video, it was a great achievement. Now it's nothing. Anybody can do that. Now you need to reach millions, which is like 10 times as much to have any real impact.
Okay.
So it's catching on, definitely. Slowly it's changing and people are accepting it more.
And Kolkata, how much accepted this new age stand-up comedy?
It's becoming popular everywhere, here also. Problem with Calcutta is that everybody leaves Calcutta.
Yes.
So we've had some comics who started here, but they found some success and they immediately left. Which is sad. Of course, Bengali stand-up comedy will always there. We have a guy in our group called Dipanshu, you know him, very funny guy. I myself, occasionally, though I'm a Hindi English comic, I sometimes do some Bengali or Hindi punchlines. If the audience, for example, is Bengali audience, then I get very good response if I do some Bengali punchlines. So I try to do some of those. Stand-up comedy is something which everybody will enjoy once they understand it. The problem is the general population does not yet understand what punchline-based comedy is, but it's slowly becoming accepted. So here also it's popular. If you do a show here, people will react well. Only problem I said is there's a bit of a brain drain.
Okay.
People will move to other cities.
Okay, so there is an objection against the new age standard comedy that the language often used is getting vulgar, double meaning jokes. So what is your point on that?
Well, I believe in total freedom of speech. I'm okay with anything. Only problem is vulgarity is more used by new stand-up comedians. They think it's hilarious. They think it's very funny, and the audience generally is in India is still a bit of an immature audience. They go to stand-up comedy to hear bad language. They get a thrill out of that.
Yeah.
From my point of view, I think a joke should be funny. Whether it's dirty or not is secondary. It should be funny. But the thing is that it's very easy to just use bad language and you get a laugh from the crowd. That's too easy. But for me, that's not funny. The joke should be funny.
So now my question on comedians.com. So what is the journey of comedians.com? How it got started? And
I started in Calcutta.
okay.
I had an open mic where I gave a prize of 1 lakh rupees and still only, I think, a few people came because there was no awareness. Slowly it started, we've developed, we're in other cities now, and my first group abroad is New York comedians. They're having their first show at Broadway Comedy Club on 21st June.
Okay.
So I'm kind of building a worldwide network. I don't know exactly why. I'm just having fun doing it. And for me, of course, since I'm an English comic, I do a lot of international Zoom shows because then I can do the jokes which I want. I can do the wordplay jokes I want and people understand them. Here I have some trouble doing the more difficult jokes because that's understandable since the first language is not English.
Okay. So how Comedy Central is connected with the comedians?
Comedy Central contacted us. They wanted to associate with us and as a partner, we put them on our posters for open mics and so on. Now we're not really coordinating. The only thing which I send them a copy of that, I do an international Zoom show every month with good comics, good international. I send them the details and so they're basically partnering for that.
Okay. So what will you tell the new age comedians? What are the requirements to be a stand-up comedian?
There's only one thing, that is perform as much as you can. Anybody who performs 100 times will be, I've told Sujat also, that stand-up comedy, you just need to perform 100 times and you'll be a good comedian. That works for 99% of the people, except some people like Kaushal Dayani who had to perform about 1,000 times before he became funny. But that is exceptional. 99% of the people, they just perform because people think humor is something which you cannot learn. They think you're born with it, nothing like that. It's something which you can learn like anything else. So if you want to be a comic, just remember one line. Perform as much as you can. Once you've got to about 100 performances, you will be a good comedian. That's about it. Everything else is secondary. People will tell you can make this kind of joke, that kind of joke. It doesn't really apply to you because you have your own sense of humor. Basically, like with cricket, you learn by practicing and batting at the nets. Acting, you practice acting, you have rehearsals. For comedy, you just perform. Perform 100 times and you'll be a good comedian.
Okay, so from this point of time, what do you think? What is the future of this new age art?
Generally, or comedy. You mean the new arts? Well, comedy certainly is growing. You can see that. As I said, 1 lakh was a big achievement on your video. Now you have to get millions to have the same effect. It will keep growing because people like humor. It's a slightly different kind of humor. It's punchline based, but people understand that more and more, the more they experience it, the more it will grow. And generally, arts, which ones are you referring to? Well, everything new takes a while. Everything new takes a while to be accepted. If it's good, it will succeed. If it's just bad or stupid, it will fail. Humor is something which everybody likes, so it will keep growing. That's what I expect.
Okay, it was a fantastic experience to sit with you, and I'd like to listen one Bengali joke from you.
One Bengali joke? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Now, as I was saying, you probably know this one. I was saying that you have to be very careful about political jokes. You have to you get in big trouble. So, for example, once I was discussing these politicians in the middle of a vast empty field. It seemed as though there was nobody about. There was maybe only one cow keeping us company in the field. So I said, be careful, don't say anything, because even the cow could be a spy. So, cow ke bolbe na.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, nice to talk to you.
Thank you.